We're live, pal. Are we? There we go. Look, listen, we're new at this, but like, I think we have it figured out where we don't spend the first 12 minutes of the podcast going, can you hear me? Guys, anybody watching? Can you see us on your Facebook or your MySpace or your Friendster? Where are you watching us? Like, we're in an AOL chat room right now, and we're just, what the fuck? Here's the problem with me also trying to be the producer of the show is I was looking down the entire time and glanced up and saw those glasses. Shout out to Riley, I guess, or ELP. Good Lord. And those are
These are from my
even I think that's a little bit much, just so you know.
do it to see if I can get your reaction. These are from my little cousin's birthday party. No, the girl. There's 3 of them. She
Yeah.
wanted
I
a
was gonna say,
dance
he's brand
party.
new.
She wanted a dance party. So yeah,
And those glasses scream dance party.
well, she had a black. She turned 4, and she had a DJ booth. She had balloons. She had the upstairs all dark, and all the kids had like had these.
When I
They
was
had
a kid,
glow sticks. They had
like Fisher Price, like plastic kitchen, like where you can make like your, fake like
yeah.
plastic hamburger stuff. Now kids have DJ booths. All right, cool.
She
All
did.
right.
It was great. We had a blast. We had a blast. I only went up there to watch the presents. I wasn't trying to run up and down the stairs with the tiny humans. But yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna see if he notices that these things are on.
I mean, eventually I do like, listen, as the adult poster child for ADHD, I often get down my own rabbit holes, and I don't need your help for that. But like,
You're welcome.
I mean, you are what my Uncle Lou used to call easy on the eyes. So I like to look at you. I'm sure most of the people that watch this are not looking at my stupid face. They're probably looking at you and whatever accessories you have on your head.
Yes, I mean, because you never know what's gonna happen here. I'm trying to give all access. Yes, that was me. Trying to give
Yeah.
all access so that everyone can like, share, comment, do all the good stuff, you guys. And
Oh my
as we were
God.
saying earlier, even if you're like, seriously, still give us a seriously star or 4 or 5
Give me
download.
5 stars.
I would prefer, yes.
In
Prefer
honor
5.
of the 5th head on Mount Rushmore, which I didn't know existed before this very podcast, it's gotta be 5 stars.
Gotta be 5
Gotta be 5.
because, what in the blue blazes? I don't know. One moment, please. We're finishing our setup on Ashley then, maybe.
What did you do?
What I did. Oh,
That's why we can't have nice things, people. Like, we
we
try.
can't. We
We
can't.
do.
We tried. Anyway, bam. Hello, Mr. Simmons. Good evening, and good evening, Alpha Russ. Thank you for joining. We're gonna get started now. We're done playing
Started with
around.
what? What are we doing?
Oh,
Here's the
power.
messed up thing. You guys don't know this, but like we've been having this exact conversation for the past like half hour before. Like, well, like, why are they so late this week? Because I forget that like we can hit the record button and that could be the content that we've been desperately craving.
And
Well,
the
you've
fact
been
that I
desperately
live
craving.
3 hours away, time zone wise. He doesn't know what time it is. I just get random messages. I'm like, it's 3 AM. I'm rolling back
If
over.
if I don't know, time's not real. As a wise poet of my generation once said, I don't believe in time. Time, why you punish me.
Of your
I'm a hoodie guy.
generation would also be my generation, but
Well, listen, I just assumed people would think you were my like younger, like more like, sophisticated like friend.
that way.
Like you could
No one
explain the
will
podcast.
ever
Like
know.
I took pity on this old timer and I was like, look, come here, grandpa. I'll teach you how to do podcasts and turn on your microphone and stuff like that. Like none of that.
I mean, so it's all about the girl power.
Always Ashley's, by the way. My friend is like, "Do you wanna talk about this job?" I'm like, "You messaged me on one of the places you can see that I'm actually live now, so we'll never
Let's
have it."
let's talk, but not now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Mm.
who knows? Alpha Russ. Hey, there you are.
You're
So,
late.
we talked about this. I'm trying to, like, whatever. I don't have I have a whole nest of people that are, here to fish me. Herb Simmons is the Hall of Famer, Herb Simmons, by the way. Like, we talked about her before. Like,
Sure.
Ashley and I were just talking about our WrestleMania plans, for Vegas in a couple of weeks. But if you need even more wrestling when you're done with Vegas, you should go to St. Louis. St. Louis. And,
Oh,
my friend Herb, has a great fan fest out there, March 8th and 9th. Look at me just shamelessly plugging.
March 8th and 9th or April 8th and 9th or June 8th and 9th or
March,
May
May. What'd I say? What'd I
May
say?
you said
March?
March, and I'm like, that was like a
May. Son of a bitch. They start with M at least.
yeah, you're
May.
close.
I love
You're
that
you're
I was so, like, I was so with it, like, mid promo, like, "Hey, let me cut a promo to put over Herb." Like, "Hey, if you're tired of WrestleMania stuff in a few weeks, go back in time to March and go to" sorry. Fucked up.
which is also a lovely weekend. That is Mother's Day weekend, as well as the
It's
weekend before my birthday.
it's well, I guess it's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May.
Oh, and by the way, happy spring. Today is the first day of spring. That's probably another reason why we're both, like, not
It
with it.
snowed. Literally, it snowed in Pittsburgh.
That's
So,
what I hear. It keeps doing those things over there. Meanwhile, over here, it's like 96.
I
And
live
it's the beginning of March. It should not be
no, well, no, in
96 right now.
Vegas, literally, you guys are already like 100 degrees, which I guess is like almost record highs for like
Yes.
March in
It is
Vegas.
not
So, like,
okay to be this
I
warm.
can't wait for a lot of, if I'm going to try to diplomatically, if you think of your typical wrestling fan, you think about them walking around in 100-degree weather between different shows in Las Vegas in a desert. They're probably I'm gonna say this as, non-heelish as I can. Maybe Ashley can do better. She's
No,
got
no, no.
great skincare and beauty product and probably some deodorant that we're gonna talk about for a lot of guys that are
That's the
gonna
one thing
smell
I do not have is deodorant, but please deodorize,
a
friend.
lot of guys gonna
Deodorize.
smell like bacon and
Onions.
whatever.
I have an onion
Ketchup? What
story,
is
and
that?
I hate the onion story, but yeah, onions.
Walking around smelling like White Castle? Get it together.
It was past White Castle. Oh, it was so bad.
It is,
So
by God, Friday night. We are here. I got roused out of a nice deep slumber to record this. That's a shoot, brother.
Thank you.
Again, time's not real. No, it's okay. Like,
No,
it's my
we
fault
because I
because
said what time, and then you were like, "Oh, I'm about to pass out," as I'm leaning up against my wall,
that was, little power nap ski, and we're right back where we need to be. That's all right.
like I said, as mom always says, "Just rest your body."
My body is too rested right now. I gotta start doing some cardio. I gotta start running some ropes. I'm gonna pass out in Vegas. It's you try to explain like wrestling cardio versus like normal cardio, and there's no way to train wrestling cardio unless you are in a wrestling ring. And I know that sounds crazy for people that are doing,
Oh, does it though?
all
Does
the
it sound crazy?
to try to explain to people, and we were talking about this inadvertently last week. By the way, thank you guys for understanding the slight delay on a lot of the content from last week's podcast.
No
We
worries.
were no, we were visited by a friend of mine, and I was trying to get that content to where it wasn't going to get me arrested or
And
fired,
such.
which takes time
And such.
and such and stuff and junk. I mean, but we were talking about like how wrestling used to be, you know, the whole point of wrestling is it looks like you're getting killed. You're not actually getting killed. And now we've kind of evolved to a point where you're seeing a lot more injuries and things like that because you're seeing moves that are less safe than they used to be, and the conditioning is different than it used to be, and those kind of things, and which are all valid points. And that's a debate that we can have about the evolution of professional wrestling as a whole. It's a great debate, actually. Like it's one of those conversations where me, as sort of the gimmick, being the last of the old school, has friends that are from the previous generation of professional wrestling who watch the current product, you know, and hate it, shit on it. I mean, that's a shout out to my friend Jim Cornette, but like, there's a whole market for that. A whole bunch of like guys that a bunch of guys in their 40s that are yelling about how their music is better than today. Like I'm one of those guys. Like, oh, the '90s were the best music ever, and this shit now that they're playing is not. It's not even music anymore. They're just,
We're the same people who said we would never be like that, and here we are
My dad was the same.
doing it.
Oh, this is
We're like, "We're
Zeppelin
never
and these,
gonna do those kinds of things," but hey, it happens.
well, it's like it was a sad day
Ashley
when I had the
drinks from her
revelation.
new kids' cup.
It really is a new kid's cup. I don't think I mean, they're the original boy band, I think, right? Like,
No, they are not.
if you don't count the Jackson 5, which I'm
And
old.
you get no, no, here's the thing, you have to go all the way back, and most people do start at the Jackson 5, but if you ask New Kids on the Block, they're gonna say my all-time favorite group that should be going into the Hall of Fame this year if all the votes come through, New Edition, because New Edition was the bridge between what happened with the Jackson 5 and the Temptations. Then New Edition came, New Kids on the Block,
That
all
was
the
the
way
same
to
time
where
as New
we are
Kids.
now.
I hate that I love that we're talking about, like, late '80s, like, boy band stuff, like, where
Hello, welcome to wrestling. And yes, sometimes we as fans, we do hate everything. And yeah, we're, as they say now on Kit Wilson says, we're a bit toxic.
it's one of those things where last week we got some,
Feedback.
feedback, thank you, where, but that's the kinda thing. It's like and Welcome to Wrestling is absolutely right. And by the way, we are live. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or wherever you're finding us, shout us out. Please share this live right now on a late night Friday night. Share it with your people. Comment. We can see that right here as we are interacting with you guys. But it's one of the things that we've dealt with for a long time. Like even in the business, like in Pittsburgh, we used to have something called the indie message board, where this is like 25, 30 years ago, like when I was just breaking into the business, where it was almost like an anonymous message board where like people, and it was mostly wrestlers anonymously,
You had it right.
maybe, but
Anonymous. There you go.
talking shit on other wrestlers. You know what I mean? It is mostly. I mean, and you had fans kind of like watching that, and it was just this negative like space, which
We call that X now.
I was gonna say it's mostly like social media as a whole now. Like, so thankfully we've evolved past where you had to go on like a GeoCities
Oh gosh.
website. Ask your parents, kids.
I'm
But wrestling
afraid.
has always been that. But I think one of the reasons wrestling is so popular, well, especially now that you have such a kind of contrarian society as a whole, especially here in America, everybody just wants to fight with everybody else all the time. Well, your opinion is wrong completely, and facts are not real facts, and whatever that is. Like you can have an entire podcast dedicated to the sky is green, not blue, and you'd be, like I was having this conversation, speaking back to the feedback that we had last week, where we're in an era where that controversy, like that sort of conflict, is what creates clicks. And unfortunately, we are in a society right now where clicks equal cash. I'm gonna see how many more C words I have for this that I can say without getting bleeped.
Cash. Controversy, cash spelled
And
CACHE.
you C words have to realize
Oh,
that that's part of the
collective.
gimmick. Yeah, collective. You collective C words,
No,
you
just you
bunch of C
collective.
words.
Oh, so to answer
Bobby and
your
Johnny were there.
question, you
No,
have to
Bob
have them both at this point because okay, here's the deal. This is an awesome question for me. When I saw New Edition in concert, they were my first concert. It was right after Bobby left. So, okay.
listen, it was
When
his
I was
prerogative
in
to go.
4th grade, Johnny Gill came in. But as I got older and they all started coming together, now I can't not have them not all there. It's hard to explain. But fun fact, fun story. One day we're at the MGM when I first moved out here and we're just chilling and my cousin's on the tables and he's like, I'm gonna go sit at this table because this guy just waved me over. He wants me to come play at his table. All right, cool. Not paying attention. I walk over and I'm just standing there, not paying attention. My mom taps me on the shoulder and she goes, do you see who's at the table? Johnny Gill. Johnny Gill was at the table with my cousin. He sang at the table. It was awesome. I had
Fact.
a cool fangirl experience. Yeah. But again, you have to have to me, it makes it just so much well-rounded with all 6 voices. I do love the original 5. They'll
Didn't Ralph
always have a special
didn't
place in my
Husband
heart because that was
die?
one of
Are they
my
all still
first
alive?
albums. But yeah,
Are they all still alive?
they're all here. They're all with us.
Who did I think
And
died?
it's no, and I'm still mad because 2nd year in a row that I did not get to see all 6 of them here in Vegas, but one day.
One of my
Yes,
favorite
they
shows.
still tour.
Ashley, you gotta black me up on this. Like, so Belle Biv DeVoe, like, for me, like,
Yeah,
was
oh, yeah.
it
That
listen,
was great to yeah, that was a
you
great
can
a great pause period between the group.
no,
There's
no,
so
no,
much
because
like, we could have,
no,
like, a
no,
whole
'cause
talk about
I
this, but
walked
we
right
have
out of
other
that
things we're supposed to be talking
I
about.
walked right out of that right into another bad creation, alright?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Don't test me on my '90s
6th
R&B.
grade, another bad
Don't
creation, and Crisscross. I mean, this yeah,
will, in fact, make you jump.
yes, and
There
one of them
were
is no longer with us.
well, I would imagine Chris. Actually, it
Yes,
wasn't. Well, they were
they
not
were
the
both
actual Christopher Cross. There's some 7-year-old white guy
Christopher
going,
Cross?
"Christopher not that Christopher Cross." Wore his pants backwards and whatever. No. I remember, like, kids in school, literally, like, there was a time where they legit went to school wearing their
Pants
jeans
backward
backwards.
or pants inside out, depending on where you landed. Were you pro crisscross or were you pro another bad creation? Because another bad creation, their pants
They
were
were inside out, I
inside
think.
out, whereas crisscross, their clothes were
I think it
back.
was I mean, it's mostly white kids, so it was mostly crisscross because that's
Yeah.
what they didn't get deep into, like, ABC.
Went to private school, I understand.
They don't understand the East Coast family.
No, they don't.
Never missed a beat.
Yes. Yes, starter jersey backwards.
So, listen, I know we're way down a rabbit hole, but I need to know, like, I was an Orlando Magic starter jacket. Were you a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket? Because you can only have one,
I
and
did
if
not
you started
have the
were you
starter
a
jacket.
what?
I did not
Did your
have
parent well, I'm sorry to hear that.
my
That's
parents were like, "You're you"
I think
no.
they can put you in
I
hospitals.
had the 90210 leather coat.
It's just Dylan Walsh.
I did. I Dylan
Shout out
McCain
to the
Brandon
new,
Walsh too.
the new national champion in AEW, Jack Walsh, Jungle Boy Jack Walsh.
Jack Perry. Yes, Crisscross and ABC, both from Atlanta.
That's Raiders. No, no,
The
no,
Ra no,
no,
now the
no. Oh
Raiders
god.
thing
Oh no.
the Raiders thing was because everyone loved Ice Cube, and I did want a Raiders hat, not gonna
That was
lie. I did want
that.
one, even
Well,
though
Easy E too. That was NWA
yeah,
stuff. Easy wore the Raiders.
Ice Cube. Yeah,
I didn't even have to use my AK. I gotta say,
today
it was
was
a
a
good
good
day.
day.
It was a good day. No, I mean, white kids didn't wear Raider stuff like that. I mean, like, it was literally, it was Charlotte
In
Hornets,
your
Orlando Magic.
town, no.
I'm East Coast. I mean, if you're
From Michigan, you saw a little bit of everything.
well, I would I was gonna say, like repping Compton or anything like that. You're from
Oh, no idea. See what wrestling? Welcome.
hey, welcome to wrestling. I don't see color. If you
Well,
identify
you
as
know, I already had this conversation with you. You are supposed to see color. Color exists for a reason. See, now we're going all
mostly for
kinds
me to
of
make fun of your
tangents.
starter jersey.
Now we're going through all kinds of, but I did
I
have the
got mine
Fila.
late. We
I
didn't have
had the
money either.
Fila in the cross colors.
See, I'm pretty sure I had a pair of British Knights,
I did. I had
BKs.
British Knights too.
I had some
I had
BKs
the
back in the
Patrick
day.
Ewings. I had those.
Patrick Ewings.
3rd grade, I wore a women's 8 or 9, so it was easy for me just to get the boys' shoes and call it a day. I had some LA Gears. God,
I
I
had
miss
no idea.
LA Gear. They need to bring those back. Bring back LA Gear and Lisa Frank all the way, doggone it. Yeah, we are definitely showing our age.
Listen, there's one like 45-year-old dude like in like Texas, like, oh my God, I can't believe they're talking about this. I had that too. So we want to make this podcast as real. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna our
One
demographic
day we'll get
is
on topic.
no, our whole demographic now is a guy named Dave in somewhere in Minnesota. It was like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
this is for you, Dave. It's
This is
all the
for you.
things.
Thank you, Dave.
That was my first concert too. Like I know.
Yes. LA Gear was the best because you had 2 different shoelaces. Oh, and remember Hypercolor? Ah, Hypercolor clothes. Now, mind you, I wore a uniform from 2nd grade to 8th grade. So then when we went to high school, we still had a dress code, so we couldn't wear certain things. So I looked forward to the weekends where I could wear my skids and my Hypercolor and all my neon clothes. And those LA Gears was basically like your way of like showing up because, you had to wear your uniform, but you could have those LA Gears on your feet.
So two things. First of all, as a young man who got taken out of class for wearing a Big Johnson T-shirt in in elementary school, I get it. This is why dress codes exist,
Mhm.
parents. All right.
I remember wanting to wear my Maggie Simpson shirt, and then they were like, "Well, make wise decisions because you bought 2 shirts with you, and do you think that shirt's gonna be good because it says suck, suck, suck?"
I had to put a piece of tape over my "I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?" I had to put a piece of tape over the word "hell" on my T-shirt. This is OG Simpsons, people,
Man.
side to side. Here's a dance step that you can't deny. Do I know the
Hey, I
dance, Bartman? Do I know the dance 30 years later? Yeah. Ask me. Ask me if I know the dance to the Bartman.
Shut
I
up.
told you, Orlando Magic jersey. I had the whole
Shut
gimmick.
up.
I did. The OG pumps. That was the
I remember I wanted some pumps. You
my
really?
dad had the OG Air Jordans, like the 84. Like if he didn't have small feet, I'd have stolen them. But I outgrew his feet when I was 13. But like the OG Air Jordans. Like
You are getting dared to do the Bartman right now.
I am not. Hoot. You think that's gonna get our views up? Like listen, we're excited. There's you. You're here. Nobody else I don't think we shared this in the nest,
We did not.
because well, that explains that.
But
But
it's
the
all
ace
good.
over there
It
has a nice
doesn't say
border.
that over here.
What? The ace?
It doesn't
I
say
took it
it.
down because we do so
Stuff.
what I learned, don't be scared to be great. That's true. Welcome to wrestling. What's your actual name? I feel bad calling you by your shoot name over there on the YouTube.
And who are
Thank you for
you,
tuning in, by the way.
wrestling bestie? What is your name, wrestling bestie?
And we're
I'd
live,
like to
guys. So
know.
if you
And
guys
we're
want to
live, so
interact,
we
this
just
is
wanna
like
say hi, hello with your name because,
clearly we're a half hour into the show and haven't started the show. So I mean, that's pretty
but we're
much
about to. This
pretty
kinda
much the
reminds me
show.
of another pod that I listen to. They talk about things and Evan, I love that name.
Evan,
Hello, Evan. Beautiful
one of
name.
my when AJ and Air Paris went to WCW for a minute, Uncle Alan, I'm sorry, we still I don't want to put some respect on his name.
There
I
you go.
think they wrestled 3 count, which I'm pretty sure Evan Courageous was one of those
Oh,
guys.
3 count. Take me back, man. Take me back.
Listen, I get hit in the head with chairs a lot, so I forget timelines, but, like,
3
we were
count.
talking about this, like, whatever, like, so when I was down it was NWA TNA when it first started, and AJ was teaming with Air Paris, and one of my favorite matches I've ever seen live in my life, it was, I was on, the loop with those guys, and they were wrestling, Joey Matthews, AKA Joey Mercury, and
Mhm.
Christian York, and they were me and Christian were in EC Dub, and were I might be making this up. Somebody fact check me in the chat. Was that Future Shock? Was that what the tag team name was when it was Joey and Christian, whatever like that?
Fun fact, this actually came on Pluto the other night and I passed out, but, like, I try to now watch as much Pluto as possible so I can be like, "Dude, you're on TV!" Like, out of nowhere, and then I pass out a lot.
I also get those random things like well, like every few like weeks, I get like, hey, I think I saw you on like some weird like not HD video of you getting chokeslammed by Abyss. I'm like, well, yeah, but
Or I'm like,
it's
"Is that
justice.
Spiffy behind the camera?"
Just as I used to know that beautiful, beautiful man. Um,
"Steve, wait, is that really you?" And I'm like, "Hold on. Shut up,
The
bestie.
Wrestling Bestie is a great, tag, by the way, and thank you.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to push buttons. I don't know what I'm doing."
See, this is why I tried for a while to try to find somebody that wanted to help, like, produce the show because, as you probably know, a half hour into this thing, I'm pretty much the adult poster child for ADHD, but that's kind of the show. But it's also great, and I don't wanna put all this pressure on Ashley, on the ace, it's a lot. Hey,
Unicorn, but the ace has
hey.
been here a few times.
I'm a lot, okay?
He's a
I feel like I feel like I'm in like a Taylor Swift video now. Like, it's a lot going on at the moment. Like,
He is a lot. That's why the ace came out
mm,
today. So, yeah. The ace tries to keep him in line because the ace is a little bit psycho.
good luck.
Yeah.
What was his name? Evan. Evan, you have a show? What do you do?
Tell us about your show, Evan.
No, we're gonna pause the entire show.
Love your sh
Listen, it's I'm only half kidding because like as a performer, as somebody who like craves like that sort of like back and forth, like, oh my God, one person is paying attention to me. Please talk to me more about what is happening for you. And that's,
That's just who we are. But
yeah,
now we're getting into it. Are you ready to get into it?
I don't know what it is, but
Welcome to Wrestling 65 episodes and right on.
oh my gosh, this is like this is our first time doing this, I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. Let me see if I'm gonna push a button.
Please
Wait.
don't. You're gonna get us
No,
kicked out of here.
not
I don't think I gave you button access, and there's a reason for
yeah.
that.
You don't know. You don't.
I
Not that. I am now subscribed.
just like that. See?
I did that.
Building your brand, Evan. You're a marketing genius. Do you have a master's degree in digital marketing? You should.
Yes, I
You
do.
probably yeah, Evan. I bet he does.
My bestie. Okay, so Bestie's real name is Matt, but he's going by Bestie today because he's my
Maddie.
bestie's here.
Look at me with
So
production
we
components.
do Bestie Mania. So that'll
Bestie
be
mania.
that's what we
What is
called it
Bestie
last year,
mania?
and this is Bestie Mania Part 2 because, second part.
What are you doing over there? Like I'm hearing like
What are you hearing?
scratching.
Oh, yeah, I scratched my thingy, but yeah. No, we did Bestie Mania last year, and we're doing Bestie Mania, this year, and the one
What?
year we were supposed to do Bestie Mania, we didn't get to do Bestie Mania,
No,
but
listen, I mean,
and
Gallows
this goes
Gallows
into
rents out his backyard. You can do, whatever manias you wanna do in a Secluded Atlanta suburb if you want to drive out there.
Well, this is just us
Beautiful property.
enjoying a lot of wrestling. But and this leads into what we're gonna talk about, but not this week, next week, but I'm just gonna give you a little snippet.
We're doing a deep dive. No deep
No,
dives.
we're doing a snippet. We don't
Oh,
deep dive. What are you doing? We don't have time for
we
that.
call it a teaser in the industry, kid. Let's see. You're gonna
We
give him
got
a
a
little
tease, if you will.
tease, a
Um,
little tisky. All right, give him.
so I was as sick as a dog during the Los Angeles Mania, and Bestie,
When was that?
oh, a couple years ago, Bestie and our friend Nicole, they went, and my bestie made sure that I got to do a little messaging FaceTime with a few people, including someone who is you may be familiar with, Ross from TNA, my buddy Ross, but also Ms. Nia Jax herself, who was at that time going by her real name. I got to talk to
Nina.
her
Good.
via Facebook Messenger, and then I cried for, like, an hour because number 1, I was sick, and number 2, that, like, made my day. So,
Fucking
we'll be
Marks.
we'll
Look
be
at this
getting into
Mark.
there later.
Fucking Mark.
It was
We were talking
awesome.
about this actually before the oh, no, not really. Like we were talking about this like when I started wrestling, it was the late 90s and it was still sort of a little taboo to like, hey, you know, 80s wrestling legend, let me get a picture with you, like whatever. Like the prevailing kind of rule was like if you're in the locker room with these guys, you know, you're not supposed to be like, hey, can I get a picture? Now that we're at a point where some of our friends are not with us anymore, in kind of hindsight and retrospect, we go, man, I wish I had more pictures when I was with those guys. So now, thankfully, like as a guy that's been kind of loosely affiliated in the wrestling business for 25 years, like I'm excited to see that now, especially as we're coming up on WrestleMania and those kind of things. Take the pictures, guys. That's a Scott Hall thing,
Mhm.
where take the picture. Like,
Not gonna lie, that is one of my biggest regrets is I didn't get a picture with Scott Hall, but I did talk to him.
yeah,
So, yeah. But
yeah. I mean,
at
that's
least I did get that moment, you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, it's it's one of the reasons why. I mean, especially now in the era of like everything is on film. You know what I mean? Like, there's not even like even in the locker room, there's a very little expectation of like privacy and kayfabe and that kind of stuff. But like, do it for yourself. I mean, like if you, especially like coming in the WrestleMania, there's indie guys that are going to be there. You're going to get a chance to network with people that you see on TV all the time, and that's awesome. And they're just people too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially when they're not on, when the
Yeah.
lights aren't on, when bright lights. Carl Anderson isn't doing bright lights. Carl Anderson, he's just a
He's just a
guy.
regular old guy. I mean,
He's a great guy with a smoking hot Asian wife and beautiful kids and, whatever, and it's
and shout out to the wife and the sister. I met both of them. They are
love
gorgeous.
them.
They are absolutely gorgeous
Yeah, but, like,
and
don't f
kind
I
enough to
mean
like, this is their time with their family and allow you to have that time. So shout out.
yeah, don't go interrupt them cutting up their kids, like, dinner and stuff like that, but, like, if you're at a if in Vegas for the next couple weeks, if you're out there and you see, one of those guys, don't
Yeah.
you can't go up and say hi. Like, seriously. I wish I'd have gotten smart enough to that earlier in my career, but I was hanging out with Samoans and they don't talk to anybody, so I wear sandals to this day because they don't wear shoes, and I got like, in the snow, like, I'm wearing flip-flops, and people are like, "What is wrong
When
with
your toes fall off, don't be calling me. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, see, that's what happens. Just put
you?"
on some
I got
socks. There you go.
diabetes.
You're gonna have an old
Wait,
lady
who'd
walk
you meet last week?
later. He met the boys. They are so funny when they're not on. They're funny when
Uh,
they're on. They're
Listen,
funny when they're not on.
Drew's funny no matter what, in any context. You talk about guys that are like good to have, like, just around. Like
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where I don't like to just be. I'm a silver linings kind of guy.
Mhm.
Like I'll find a way to be generally happy if you let me. Like I'll talk myself into it if I have to. And Drew is one of those guys that's always been that guy. So
Good dude.
shout out to the boys.
Good dude.
So we're
Well,
supposed to be
we need to get
talking
started.
about. I love that it looks like. Well, now that we're 40 minutes into this gimmick, let's. I guess we can. Let's talk
Let's
in.
talk about it.
So March is Women's History Month,
Yes.
and last week, before we had a great cameo from my friend the Hustler Rip Rogers. Thank you for all of that feedback, by the way, guys. Rip is. I love the guy, obviously. Very hard to edit around as an
Mm,
old school brother. Turns out we sometimes say very much things that aren't supposed to be said in 2026, the year of our Lord. But we started talking about women's wrestling, and that was where the Hustler came in here, and we were talking about the great pioneers of women's wrestling. It was the 80s and 90s when women's wrestling stopped being a sideshow and started being presented not as equals to men yet. And that's not, I wasn't the booker. Don't be mad at me. But back then, women were an attraction, kind of a sideshow and whatever like that. So as we got into the rock and wrestling era, and then we graduated into the attitude era, you started seeing women presented better,
but
but
we also kind of fell back.
but also kind of, yeah, exactly. We're talking about bra and panties matches and handprint tattoos on your whatever on your tits and bikini contests and gravy wrestling and what women's wrestling was as we kind of moved in to the attitude era. But because women's wrestling has evolved so much and because women are so important to the evolution of professional wrestling as a whole, we wanted to make sure that we took enough time to really give them their flowers. And women love flowers, boys. They do. Trust me. Give them for no reason, by the way. Give them flowers. That's the best flowers is like where there's the what did you do wrong moment of you giving a girl flowers where her first reaction is you screwed up something. No, you're just awesome. Here are some flowers. And then anyway, back me up on that. That's boys. Come on. Girls, come on.
I like diamonds.
Fucking see, I can't have nice things. I'm like, here's some flowers for no reason. And then girls are like, where's my diamond? Like, that's why. That's why.
I'm more easy to get over. Give me some wrestling tickets, some concert.
Diamonds?
Give me
Diamonds
some
and or
concerts, some
complimentary
diamonds,
$10
some
wrestling ticket.
chocolate.
It could be anything. But
Yes.
no, but the Attitude Era itself being so instrumental in women's wrestling, we wanted to make sure that we acknowledged that because that was the first kind of women's evolution, where certainly not portrayed as equals to the boys or whatever, but they were at least at that point starting to be highlighted or showcased on wrestling television and stuff like that. And before that, you had the gorgeous ladies of wrestling and you had the occasional, even the era of like from Wendy Richter through Medusa, like the actual women's wrestling champions that you had in the 80s and 90s. They weren't really on TV that much. So seeing women kind of presented on television in a professional wrestling show was different. And this is, listen, this is Nitro Girls and whatever stuff. Shout out to Fire, who I wanted to marry when I was a kid, or Whisper, who another Shawn Michael married. But that's okay.
The girls in the
I'm excited.
cages, I'm still trying to work that in my head, why there were girls in the cages on TNA and WA. I'm trying to work it out.
I mean, I could tell you,
I'm
really,
I
I could tell you.
thank you, Vic. is maybe what
That
guys would say or whoever was in charge at that point,
I was gonna say,
and
I
you know
don't it's
what?
even there.
My question is what? But okay, I'm just gonna let it go. Girls had jobs, girl power. That's all I care about.
But what started happening is, and I'll lead into it with what I would consider to be the 2 women, that I'm sure well, I they were definitely on last week's, Mountain, and,
Indeed.
they need mentioned again, and that's Trish and Lita,
Yeah.
who became the first women that were put on television and given the opportunity to wrestle and wrestle with the sort of credibility that did
Mhm.
not exist on television
Mhm.
before Trish and Lita went out there and said, "Yeah, we're not doing a bra and panties match. We're gonna go out there and here's a top rope Frankensteiner, suck my dick."
Swanton bomb
Metaphorical dick, obviously, but like,
stuff.
yeah, stuff.
I
But
do like that. Yeah.
they crowbarred themselves in. They made themselves almost like, we talk about undeniable. They put themselves in a position where they were so good at what they did. And obviously beautiful women, and obviously like they're out there, and they still had some of the divas slash
Mhm.
bra and panties sort of presentation. But if they weren't able to go out there, and even if they were only given 4 minutes or 5 minutes, which is all women used to be given in a 3-hour wrestling show to go out there and showcase themselves, and they took those. We talk about maximizing your minutes. That's something JR would always talk about. If you're only going to be on TV for a 60-second segment, maximize your minutes. Get your shit in, kid. And Trish and Lita did that. And they did it sort of almost like despite how they were trying to be booked at that time. They went out there and they beat each other's asses, really.
Mhm.
And it became like, oh, these girls aren't, you know, they're not just out there
They're
posing.
the
They're
real
out
deal.
there, they're doing the thing. Yeah.
They're the
So
real
that
deal.
was but they ushered in this entire new
Now
and
I
this is
I
the
do agree with that, but you kinda skipped a lady that's very important to ushering
yeah.
in the great China, because she was technically before them. Technically before them. Now there are some other women that we're gonna throw in here because this is technically so just so you guys know this, it's hard to put this make a mountain out of this. But there's a lot of because there's a lot of women who did so many great things that they all deserve a shout out, and China is one of them. She gosh, she wrestled the women, she wrestled the men. She showed that muscles are sexy.
See that?
You didn't have to look like a Trish. You didn't have to even look like Alita, who was kind of more tomboy, but still, she had the thong out or whatever and the big tattoo, but it was still, she was China. Like when she came out, you knew this is China. Everyone's going to stop. They're going to look and they're going to enjoy it. And she wasn't just the enforcer. She turned into, yeah, the S.A. Rio. I thought I was the only one who remembered the whole S.A. Rios thing. This is why we're besties, bestie.
That was Lita,
But
right? Was that
yeah, Lita,
that was
Lita
Amy?
and S.A.
Yeah.
Rio. But
That was
China
Poppy
was,
Chulo.
was the enforcer. Then she turned into the heavy wrestler to Mamacita to Sexual's chocolate, it was she did all of that and still went out there and kicked your ass. And because of her, then we started seeing the Awesome Khans and the Beth Phoenixes come in because it wasn't the cookie cutter look. It was the muscles are sexy look. Big girls are sexy look. So right on and rest in peace to
China
China.
China is, I mean, the ninth wonder of the world, but
For a
also
reason.
was very much an anomaly because if you want to talk about like skipping ahead, women weren't regarded as wrestlers until that point, and then you go from that to women are beating the shit out of men. That
And she
there's
did.
nothing remotely like that that was on television or was any sort of presentation. Even in ECW, you would have, Franny and Beulah and the valets would occasionally like eat a pile driver, or the guys would beat up the girls, which, again, different time, guys. I'm not advocating for that. That was on television
Way back
30
when.
years ago, way back when.
And shout out to Francine and Beulah and all of
Love
the
Franny.
ladies of ECW because again, they brought a whole another flavor to wrestling.
Nothing like the night kimono wanna lay a dance atop the ECW arena.
How do you really feel?
I can tell you how 11-year-old me felt when, no, it's fine. But like, but no, but again, to your point, women were being presented differently, and it was the first time that women were A, showcased, and B, you went from the Trish and Litas that were out there working their asses off to somebody like China who was beating up guys.
Yes.
And by the way, and you might be able to speak about this, the guys did not want that to be a thing. There was substantial pushback on the way China was booked and the way China was presented. And I'm not putting that shit over sort of like the boys. That had never happened before. There'd never been a situation where like you had a woman being presented as an equal, and not even just an equal, as a I'm going to beat you
Yeah.
sort of presentation in wrestling ever. That's
Right.
never happened before
And
China.
then and again, look at the break from that. It took Beth Phoenix to come and then do it again, and then Nia Jax to do that again. Like it's been so spread out to in that particular company for them to do that. I do apologize if you can hear any extra noise in the background.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
your studio is. You're not at the place.
I'm not at the estate,
No,
but
but then no. To your point,
sure.
and it's an amazing point. Is women, they will occasionally, like even through generations, have this like the attraction, the
Yeah,
anomaly. China was an anomaly.
China
Like Beth
wasn't allowed.
Phoenix,
I
the
know with Beth
Glamazon was
Phoenix.
an anomaly.
Yes.
So in that one, in the WWE, the Fed, as the boys call it, like there was that presentation of women. However, they're at that same time in places like Japan or even some indies. You already started to see very credible, very good intergender matches that were happening between men and women. One of the most famous clips you could find online is from the early 2010s, where Kenny Omega, who is widely regarded as one of the best in-ring workers of all time, was wrestling like a 9-year-old girl in Japan, and it's a 5-star match. Sorry, Meltzer. I don't know if I'm allowed to, like, whatever. Please don't sue us. We don't have that much money yet. But like, it was a 5-star match. It was incredible to watch that presentation of a 9-year-old girl wrestling, but it showed that what wrestling was, and as wrestling was kind of evolving into that presentation. Now, I understand, Jim Cornette and Rip Rogers and the old school guys hated that, because I remember when Will Ospreay wrestled Ricochet over in Japan, and it became a thing where a lot of the old school guys were just
Too
hot
fluffy for
about the
them.
match. And the match itself was art. It was literal ballet. Like what they did, what they were able to present was something that had never happened in wrestling before. And now you have an entire company in like AEW that
Mhm.
probably could be argued was based on that style of match that they wrestled
Right.
well before their time.
Right.
Well before their time, they had that match. Now, it certainly upset people that came before them for a couple of reasons. A, I can't do that shit. B, you're killing the business, because wrestling was presented a little bit differently,
Mhm.
even in Japan, where it was very strong style. It was not,
Mhm.
whatever. It's not bra and panties matches. So when
Ladies
Trish
and
and
gentlemen,
Lita
times are a changing.
were beating each other up legit, when they were laying it in, as we would say, when China was choked, when she was beating up guys, it gave a different level of credibility to women in the wrestling business that had not previously existed. And
Mhm.
that's the evolution versus revolution that we
Right.
talk about with
And now
women,
look at,
and
like,
also the evolution of professional wrestling as a
look at
whole,
the
because
body
that was
women now. Look at the body women now. Jordan Grace, she's a body woman, you know? Bianca Belair, she is technically a body woman. Jade Cargill, she takes care of her body. She's not a, she's body woman
Jade
like,
was.
but look at the evolution of how they take care of themselves and they lift weights and still they
Listen,
are
shout out to Jordan. If you look at Jordan Grace from 8
yeah,
years ago,
right.
he did not
But the
look like
first
that.
time I saw Jordan Grace
He did not look
versus
like that.
yeah, it was a whole totally different person. I remember going to a match and seeing Jordan. She was in what was it? Bessie, if you recall, let me know. It was I think it was Jordan Grace and Matt Cardona. It could have been, but it was it. And again, it was, and she at that time was with Rachel Ellering, and totally different Jordan body type. And then
Different Rachel body type.
she got into different health and fitness, and now we've got Jordan, you know? But I know
The
we're
juggernaut,
going
right?
to
The
the
juggernaut.
juggernaut. I know we're going too far into next week's, but just again, it was
Blowing the spots, kid. We're
again
trying to like
again,
this
it's
is why like
China.
I rarely like kind of like, hey, we were gonna do like the 2000s through like modern wrestling.
He said,
Ladies, I said, hey, we should probably give girls a little more time. We should probably split this up because there's so many women that are so impactful in the business right now. I want to make sure that you guys all say
"He's a sensitive
he's not
man."
just a guy with good hair. I know he plays a bad guy, but he seems like a nice guy.
Mhm. I got some more for you because we've been very WWE centric with our
Yes.
convo right now. But let's go back over there and talk about Awesome Kong and Gail Kim and ODB and
Well,
what they
you're
brought
mess
to the table.
if we are still pretending like we're
Good
doing a
lord.
mountain, like, for this week, you're just killing all my spots, kid. Like, what are you doing?
That's why we're not doing a
Good.
mountain because good grief, you can't mountain this. It's a whole country. It's a whole continent.
Alright.
It is. It's a whole continent. I mean, when those 3 women that I stated, I was not
Evan,
a beautiful
Velvet
person.
Sky, I wanted to I still do, like, to this
I
day,
was not a
and
beautiful
shout out to
person.
Bubba Ray, but, like, alright, give me your first, let me go. I didn't think we'd be an hour into the pod before we started the pod, but I should know better. You would think me, of all people, would be like, it's probably gonna be the pod."
Mhm.
Alright, give me your number 1. I'm gonna try to figure out how to make this on your deal here. Nope,
No,
that's not the
that's
one.
all you. There's I don't
What are you
have
doing?
that's the problem. It's hard to say a number 1 when you're talking about this particular conversation because what we decided to do was get back into that late 90s and those early 2000s. It's hard to have a number 1 because there was so much, as I was saying, flavor, even though it's flavor. Shout out to Tasha Steele. Talk about her next week. But when you're looking at when you're looking at women's wrestling, you have to look at all the alternatives that were there. And before I do that, I want to give a shout out to SoCal Val for that era. SoCal Val, Christy Hemme, they weren't, well, Christy did wrestle a bit, but they weren't they, they were there. They, doing the announcing, valeting. Shout out to them because they were still part of that. I was not a beautiful people person, but I appreciate what the beautiful people bought to TNA. And again, like I said, Gail Kim, Mickey James, Awesome Kong. Like I tuned in to TNA for them and Samoa Joe and the BDC and Uncle Allen. That's what I tuned in for when I tuned into TNA when I could find it on my TV. Christopher Daniels, I tuned in for that. But when again, going back to the women of TNA, my gosh. And I met ODB last year and I wanted to do the thing so bad, but I didn't do it. But yeah.
Gotta
ODB,
do the thing.
Mickey James,
Say the
Lil
line.
Kim, and, Awesome Kong. Just they bought it. It was that they bought that alternative to the bra and panties matches. They were
Yeah.
even though
They
it
forced it.
sometimes
They
weren't
they forced they
serious.
forced a lot of that evolution because
Yeah,
people
ev
started going,
exactly. Even though they
"Why
were
2 minutes of
they were
wrestling
serious.
on one show, 2 minutes of gravy wrestling on one show, and I'm getting Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong with a 20-minute banger on
Ugh,
this other show," right?
ugh,
Yeah.
so freaking good. So freaking good. So it's definitely, you can't just discuss the Attitude Era and early Divas period and not think about what they were doing over in TNA. And like we said earlier, shout out to the ladies over in ECW doing their thing too. Every Again, wrestling is flavorful. Wrestling is a tossed salad. It's not a bowl of soup. It's a
Whoa,
tossed
whoa,
salad
whoa.
because you can put in your
Who's
lettuce,
tossing
your
whose
tomato,
salad?
your
What?
stop it.
Not that what?
Not that kind of salad. I'm talking about a
Oh.
good, you get to
Oh, it's a good
you can
salad.
do good like a nice sides and I'm not listening to you. Yeah. But think about it that way. Don't think of it as a melting pot. Think of it as a nice colorful fruit salad. There. Dang it, that didn't work either.
Who you calling fruit?
Just saying. Just salad. Anywho, it was beautiful back then. It started to become because the TNA women pushed it. I feel like that also helped. It did. It helped push the evolution and revolution that we are in now. So, oh Lord.
Can't argue with that. What? What happened? What'd I
Yes, a
miss?
healthy salad. A healthy salad.
Who
Healthy.
said healthy salad? Oh my god, it's in the chat. This is why. This is why
Evan.
why we can't have nice things. Did you name somebody?
A bunch. Yes, before Bessie or thing goes away. Yes, Luna and Bull. Yes. Like we
Yes.
talked about them last week.
Here's the problem. Like people like Bowl, people like, like Natty transcend like eras, which
Yes.
is amazing. They're almost in their own like stratosphere.
Mhm.
Not Trish stratosphere, but they're almost in the actual
Stratosphere.
stratosphere. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, thank you. You see what I did there?
Good job.
Little wordplay for
Very nice.
the podcast. Thank you. I'm going to go and bring up somebody that I loved from the minute I saw her on television, and that
Mm.
is a young lady known as Molly Holly.
Yeah.
See, you
Yeah.
forget
No, you
Molly.
can
Molly was
Spiffy and Holly.
like flat out. Like
Mhm.
Trish and Lita were Trish and Lita. You know,
And there was
Molly
Molly.
Holly was the first girl that I saw where I didn't even register that that's a chick. You know what I mean? Like she went out there and just worked, and that was
Molly
new.
Holly
That
beat
was
the crap out of
brand
it.
new. Like at that time, you have to remember, like the early aughts,
Mhm.
that wasn't something that women were doing on television. There was even in the era of bra and panties and gravy matches, Molly Holly wasn't that girl. Molly
Yep.
Holly was doing
Molly
legitimate
Holly stuff.
right. So that none of this evolves without Molly Holly because she, to me anyway, Molly was the bridge between
That's a
sort of the
good
bra and
one.
panties, era and where women eventually started getting presented as again, still short matches, still whatever, but
Mhm.
like that was the first
Mhm.
time that like coming to the ring is she's gonna beat somebody's ass and she's you know what I mean? And that was it. There
Yeah.
didn't have to be any of the other sort of like she's not, pregnant by Val Venus's kid or giving birth to a hand or whatever, like she's out there as a professional wrestler and a woman. And she may be
Became
like but that was brand new back then and
Mhm.
most people were watching WWF television. So that
Mhm.
was the first she's the pioneer. She to me is somebody who quite literally changed the entire
Absolutely.
trajectory of women's wrestling. Molly Holly is my early aughts Attitude Era Evolution pick.
And I do see, yes, we did talk about Jazz last week,
Jazz is
how
one of them. She transcends too.
her and Miss Jackie, they did it all. And Jazz, as I stated last week, she scared the living daylights out of me. And that's, yes. Yeah, see, y'all are bringing, yes, Victoria, absolutely. Whether
You
she's
can't.
Victoria or Tara, you can't have that period without her. Great one, Matt. One that Mr.
I
Rogers
love
brought
that
up last
somehow
week
I'm the
that I
guy going
love.
like, hey, 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 hey,
Hey,
hey, hey, hey.
I was reading the comments.
Why am I the guy keeping the show on?
I don't know, but I was reading the
You need
comments.
a
I will
handler,
throw
is
the
what you
shoe.
need. All
I
right.
will throw the shoe.
Don't you- it's chancla. I learned this about
Oh, I
'cause
got
I work for
chocolates too. I will
see?
there everything's right here. Don't make me throw it.
I'm gonna pretend like Jacqueline is your next pick. Go ahead
No,
then.
she is not.
Oh, you're just gonna steal
I was
if you're gonna steal my
commenting with
pick, if
I'm
you're gonna steal my
commenting with
pick,
the
own it.
audience. I was commenting with the audience. I was
We
getting
have an
ready to
audience?
say
People
I
are
was
paying
getting ready
attention
to
to this?
say
God
before
bless you
you
guys.
got all spiffified. What I was going to say is I agree with Mr. Rogers.
More people need to be spiffified, by the
Oh,
way. That's a
Lord.
great word.
I
Somebody write
agree
that
with
down.
Mr.
Write
Rogers
that down.
and Serena Deeb because
Jerk.
she's still going. She's still going. And
Or
even when she shaved her head, I was
she's
like
better.
I was like, but you want somebody to capture your attention because she's gonna give you a good hold?
Let me speak about this like the diva that I am. Serena Deeb, and again, as you alluded to, the hustler Rip Rogers put her over last week on our show. And by the way, please download those episodes. Leave us a 5-star review if you're looking for the Spiffy Sean show is what it's under on your Apple and your Spotify's. And if you see me on Tinder, please swipe right. I don't know where you find people anymore, but Rip Rogers put over Serena Deeb as his favorite student ever. And, came off treating women as equals. Treating women as equals was not something, especially as far as training went, was not something that had happened before that. Serena Deeb was so good that again, we talked about this last week when we talked about Sherry Martell, where one of the best compliments you could pay was she's one of the boys. I understand in 2026 that sounds sexist and whatever and chauvinistic, but in the professional wrestling business 30 years ago, there was no greater compliment you could pay to a female performer than to say, she's one of us. We treat her like an equal because there are literally on one hand, you can count the women that were regarded that way in that time period. Serena Deeb is absolutely one of those people. Serena Deeb loved wrestling so much that she was willing to shave her head on television just to get over the story. If you're listen, I don't want to speak for girls, and I know I got the good hair. I got a little bit of Indian in me, so I got good hair.
God
But like
bless, that's getting
this probably can't be live anymore. Not actual Indian, but
Mhm.
um, but Serena was again legitimate, and to this day is one of the best. Like in my opinion, the best technical wrestler women that ever existed. Although Dean Malenko's kid just got signed, and
Yes,
I
she
can't
did.
wait. I can't wait to see her wrestle.
She's gonna have 20,000 holds.
Well, at least 1,005. She would have to just to have the most holds. I mean, if you
Yeah.
but no, Serena Deeb is who could argue with that? But even Serena back then, she was mostly just a heater for Festus,
How we
shout out
get
to
back to the
Festus.
freaking deacon? I don't know, but we did.
The Dorian DeVille, but she didn't really even wrestle that much back then.
She
Which
didn't,
brings
but it was intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, in her
I
role,
said any person who would willingly go and get their head shaved on national TV,
it was transcendent. It
it
was
it
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 was
it was it was a
new
moment.
thing. It was See, this is why you have a show. It was a moment. Well said. We talk about wrestling in terms of that thing. Like last week, we were talking about when Macho Man proposed to Miss Elizabeth.
It was a
Moment.
moment.
When it was with lust in your eyes. And that moment when you had that era of like, those were moments. Serena Deeb shaving her head with the straight edge society. That was a moment. You know, I'll, I will give you mine and it's going to be Ivory.
Mhm.
So
Ooh.
Ivory got love last week as well as Tina Ferrari or Tina, whatever she was, like because I was putting over my friend Hollywood from
Mhm.
the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. But so Tina was one of the and Glow was I don't want to say like an actual wrestler, but she could actually wrestle. And that at that time made her unique. When she got to the WWF, she was already a 15-year, like, vet, and she was great. When she became Ivory, in The Right to Censor, like, she
Mhm.
became a great character in addition to having the credibility of being somebody who could actually wrestle because she could, and that was different. That was the first sort of character heel that had ever been presented. I don't count China because China wasn't treated like a woman, if that makes sense. Ivory was the
She
first
was in
like
a gang.
female. Yeah, China was again. We talk about anomalies. We talk about attractions. China was that. China was Andre the Giant level, eighth wonder of the world, ninth wonder of the world. Even as the WWF presented China, they put her on par with Andre the mother effing giant. That's how she was presented. That's a whole different level. All right.
Mhm.
Ivory gave a certain amount of credibility to women on TV at that time because she could do the character work. She was the first woman they really let cut promos, which women never talked. If you look back, they would do their quick little like, I'll show you, like, and they'd take their clothes off, like promos. Ivory was the first woman on television that would cut like actual wrestling heel promos in front of the live audience and have that be here's a microphone, you've got 2 minutes, go. So that in itself was a different thing. And then she could work, which, that was sort of still new for women in wrestling in the early 2000s.
Now I have one for you that is a little different because,
Oh,
we don't just look at the wrestler, we look at the entire contribution of who was a part of wrestling.
you changed your own rules last week, by the way. Like
I
I,
know I
I,
did.
I didn't call you out on it.
I
Just
know, and I said because I'm the unicorn and I can. And I'm doing it
because I
again.
know better than to be like, oh, that's not what you said,
No,
girl.
I know what I said. I'm gonna give some love to Lillian Garcia.
What a great damn it. I wish I'd have thought of
I
that.
and I want and it's
I'm mad now. I'm mad at
she
myself.
she wasn't just an announcer, she was the ring announcer, she sang the anthem, she bought us in one of the worst times in our lives. She was one of the first voices we heard, not just because she sang the national anthem, but because you could feel her soul.
I thought you were talking about me breaking up with my high school girlfriend. It was
No,
the worst time in everybody's life. Okay.
roll that back, keep it to yourself.
That was great.
But no, Lillian Garcia, and even still, the inspiration she has become for other women to work in the industry. It I don't think you could have a lot of the things that she had, and she just recently told the story about how, she took over for Howard Finkel and getting that
Yeah.
blessing. getting that blessing from him and, knowing that she had big shoes to step in, but she made it her own. So, shout out to her.
All right. Well, I I should. Well, I'm gonna. I should use this opportunity to put over my friend who's gonna go on the
Go
mountain,
for
I
it.
think, because she was again a different presentation. It's gonna be my friend Christy Hem.
I
I was one of the
Did I
greatest
see her while
compliments.
you were out?
One of the I don't know. One of the
Remember.
greatest compliments of my wrestling career, my life in general, was when I was in Christie's top 8 on MySpace for, like,
Oh,
several yeah, guys.
fancy.
Yeah,
You
that
did
was a big
something
deal.
there.
I was a big deal
You
back
did.
in the
You
early aughts.
you
I had a
were,
run.
you were.
Really didn't. But she was but Christy was a sweetheart. A gorgeous girl, talking about ring announcers and talking about longevity and being, like a personality in the wrestling business. This is again, you have to remember this is 25 years ago. This is before, the Jackie Redmonds of the world or even
Mhm,
the Renee Paquettes of the world. Like they weren't
mhm.
hiring like attractive women to do like backstage interviews. It was still Mean Gene and that kind of stuff. Like
Mhm.
I mean, nothing wrong with Mean Gene, obviously, but like, but this was new. And
Yeah,
Christy being somebody who wasn't a wrestler,
she was from the Diva Search.
she was a Divas search person. So they try to sort of like, but even the Diva search in itself,
Look
right?
what you've gotten out the Diva Search.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
they weren't looking for, Serena Deeb. They weren't
no.
looking for, like, actual women wrestlers in the Divas search. They were looking for models that would come out and look hot, and they could have a 3-minute pillow fight segment. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It's an it's hard not to, understate, how important this era was for women in the professional wrestling business because literally it was we're going to hire you to like put lingerie on and smack another girl with a pillow for a few minutes while people in the live arena go get another beer and people at home, whatever. And that's what it was. It was, filler. It was the popcorn match is
mhm,
what women's wrestling was for a while, like for a very long time.
mhm.
And you have like the Lillians and the Christies and those kind of women.
This
Just women on television on a weekly basis was something at that point was very new. Like that hadn't happened before. And Lillian and Christy were the first that coming back from the commercial and you get a good one shot of this gorgeous, Lillian ring announcer or Christy or whatever it is. And that becomes the
Mhm.
face of what that is, and
Yeah.
that had not happened before that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the girls that were doing not pillow fights
Let's talk
and
about the Diva Search real quick, and let's talk about who was in there. Christy, Maria, the Bellas, Maurice. I mean,
like, a lot of them would be
a lot of them you didn't actually you wouldn't have thought, "Oh, I'm gonna see, this girl who does not know a lick of English turn out to become freaking Maurice," you know? It was
Mike knew
like,
right away, according to him.
yeah, he said he knew. We had no idea,
Yeah.
We were like, "Oh, okay."
No,
And
I mean,
even,
Maurice, you would talk about in terms of, like, the it factor, like,
yeah,
and I think, like, loosely, that's what The Miz
yeah,
would have said, kind of in hindsight, is like, you look at some people and you go, "Oh, there's something there."
right.
Even if they can't wrestle or whatever like that, there's something there.
There's
Like,
something
Maurice
there.
is one of those people. Obviously, the Bella twins are yeah, again, weirdly transcendent, people, and I
Yeah,
look at, like, and we're kinda getting ahead because 'cause we're gonna do a whole 'nother week of this, by the way, guys.
we
We
got a
ain't
lot to
done.
talk about. We ain't we
Yeah,
know
we're not even into the
we're hold it.
Divas evolution and revolution. We're not
We're
even there yet.
trying to hold it. But, yeah, like, Matt is absolutely right. Like, Ashley Massaro, the freaking anti-diva search. Yeah, she was yes, may she rest in
I
peace.
love
Loved her. The other one, oh my gosh, her name, I don't know why. Not Eve Torres, who also loved, But, oh my gosh,
Eve is probably on my mount because Eve was, again,
Mhm,
in the vein of, like, Trish,
mhm,
was that sort of like that hybrid, that
mhm,
hot girl that can wrestle. I hate to be like as like a dude about it. Like a
mhm.
hot, "Oh, this she can work." It was
Yeah.
but Trish and Lita were the first people that Eve kind of followed up on
Yes,
that kind of thing.
yes. Why is her name not coming to my brain? Because it was Ashley, Eve, and there was
I think you're thinking about Caitlyn.
Yes! Thank you. Thank you. Good job, good job.
See that,
Yes,
boys? Finger on the pulse. You gotta know what they're thinking. You gotta know what these chicks are thinking. Otherwise, they're gonna be like, "No."
get a vibe, you get a
I thought you were
vibe.
thinking about Caitlyn, and Caitlyn's a great
Yes.
pick, by the way.
Yes, those 3 together, it was
I was in
that
love with
unique
Caitlyn.
factor. That you
In
it was a
love with
great
Caitlyn.
unique factor. They weren't Trish and Lita. They weren't
Well,
Trish and Lita. They were their own style. I
and again, I'm bad with dates, but I think Caitlyn was there. I think technically, so I know Caitlyn because of her work with AJ Lee, not
Mhm.
Uncle AJ, not Uncle Alan, the other AJ. I thought that was mostly 2010s through. So
Yeah,
like I'm
but
gonna
still,
table
like
them for next week. Ooh,
but it was still in that
yeah, but that
yeah,
was, like
right at the
moving
end,
through
tail end
that.
of '09.
Yeah, but I will take Maria. Like I
Oh,
will
is
take
that I
Maria for a
said her
couple different
earlier
reasons.
while you were doing your thing.
Steeler. Well, let me give you like a quick
No, and
let
it's
me
not
put
even
Maria
steal,
over. A,
it's more of a I could not help but shout out a bunch of people at one time because my goodness, where would we be without these women?
I love
Go for with Maria.
we have no format typically, and then we have somehow even less format than we did
We
before this
tried.
week. We're
Dude,
going
we
in the
tried.
wrong direction here. We're
We
supposed to be figuring
tried,
this out.
but again, it's we our fandom hits, our, our nostalgia hits, and we just flow, and that's for me personally, that's what I like about this is it's, 2 people who can just flow and talk and have the engagement with our audience about, yeah, we have made set rules, but sometimes rules are meant to be
Don't
broken.
we? You're the unicorn as you cut a promo on me last week. Don't act like I'm in charge of any of this.
Sometimes rules are meant to be broken, especially when you're talking about, like, something like this because every person that we have mentioned since last week, they did something to make what we see today happen.
No,
So,
absolutely. I
yeah.
mean, and that's sort of how like when like we're going through like the kind of the methodology of why or how we're picking these. For me, it was that. It was like I wanted to find women, especially around that time, that were like transcendent as far as what
Mm,
they did. So Maria Kanellis for me was, first of all, still one of the most beautiful women ever. I have a type, I guess. But also, like she did both. She did Playboy and did all that stuff. So did like the diva kind of stuff, but also is a really, really good like worker,
mhm,
when they let her work. And that's again that in itself was a different presentation because it was one or the other at that point. It was Molly Holly and Ivory, or it was you know Tori Wilson and whatever, like in the gravy. It was Jacqueline and Victoria, or it
there's
was
Stacy Keibler, who
yeah.
she
And
did some stuff, but, it wasn't like, you know
So so fun fact, I knew Stacy before she was a wrestler because I lived in Baltimore for a minute
Oh,
and
so
she was a
you
Baltimore
the
Ravens cheerleader.
cheerleader.
So I was friends with another Ravens cheerleader, not her, but I was
N
like, gosh, I was a
Cece.
kid working at Bob Evans and this
Mm,
girl came in with her mom and I'm like, just, doing waiter stuff. Ended up your bestie might I'm gonna let
uh-huh.
you have it. I'm gonna let you
I
have it.
know, I know, I
If you're
saw
not
it.
in the live chat, you should because you guys often have better ideas than I will ever have.
Can you
And
tell?
no, thank you guys for go ahead.
Because that right there, oh my gosh, Daphne. That that it
You want to talk about a different
Daphne
presentation in a time where like it
made
was
Rest in peace.
nothing but nitro girls and like literal dancing chicks on TV
In a
was
cage.
the only thing that was happening in WC Dub at the time. You had Daphne, who came in and was a character, also a badass,
Mhm.
and was credible.
I
And
was like,
that's
"That screaming girl." And then I was like, "Oh, shoot, that screaming
that one.
girl's pretty good."
No, Daphne's a great pick for that
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And again, very overlooked just because
Everything else
you had
no.
well, you had Kimberly
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
DDP, which again,
For my 40-year-old virgin.
yeah, well, that or I
Mm.
had to wait that long to see her.
Let it go, Elsa.
13-year-old me was very excited about that for a minute. But you had Kimberly, and who again, the evolution of that of the WCW valet
Mhm.
wasn't to in-ring stuff or wasn't to promos. Like Stacey Keebler was they put her in like a business suit and stuff
Yeah,
in
it
WCW. Like,
took
they
her
didn't like
get to WWF,
yeah.
WWE to do more things. Same thing with Tori Wilson. It took a company to go out of business to see these 2 women, and I'm gonna say 3, Sharmell, to see them in a different light outside of being
Carmella
the
was
damn.
WCW.
She was a Nitro girl.
Charmel was.
Yes.
I swear to God, I didn't know that.
Yes, it took that company to close to see who they are. So, unfortunate situation, but look what we got from it.
So
Huh,
I
I
had
mean,
one and I forgot it, but I'm gonna remember it real quick
I
because
don't know if I
I got
remember
distracted by
anything.
Charmel. I have Alexandra York, who you might know as what was
Oh, yes, yes. Very,
in
very, very much of a whole totally different.
yeah.
I mean, this woman in the gold garb smoking a cigar, like, what was that?
Listen, your Bessie literally said it right after I said it. Look at me.
Yes.
Look at us. We're on
See? See? And see
like
who else he posted because he knows better?
it's me blowing your spot
Did
before I
did did you did
listen.
you see who else he posted in there because
This
he
is
knows
why I'm
better?
on TV and you're in the chat room. All right. You got to get on my you got to catch up. All right. Try to steal my heat.
But did you see that? Did you see what he
No.
said? Did you see what
No,
he
I
said?
barely
Read it, cause he knows. I mean, you're
yeah,
bet
no, exactly. Same thing. Out with Doom in WCW, she was the first before Stacy Keebler, the first woman that came out in like a business suit and a briefcase and was like look at me like girl power kind of thing. And then when she went to the WWF, like she was still glamorous and
"Oh, I
still
got one, I
looked
got
great.
one."
Her and the cigar and gold dust and
Yeah.
the whole thing. But again, you're talking about like at this point, like I'm talking about transcendence, like women in the business at that time because women's wrestling was evolving. And I say women's wrestling in the macro sense of ring announcers and backstage interviewers and valets and wrestlers. And all that, for me anyway, is one thing because women were starting to be presented very differently on television. And it's because of the women that I am putting on my mountain. Uh,
I'm
Marlena
having small
is
country.
one of them for sure.
Someone else on my small country would be Tracy Brooks.
Wow.
Cause I mean, if you're gonna
Is that
talk
early
about
2000s? You're making me feel like
if
weird.
if if you're gonna talk about, the woman in the power suit who turned into a kick-ass woman, why not? But she's
No,
gonna
I
be
mean,
in my small country.
listen, I can't argue with that,
No,
obviously. But like,
and
I mean,
I'm just waiting for her to show up and, uh, get in the face of the Elegance brand like the rest of the ladies have been doing the last few weeks. I'm waiting.
so I don't think you may have. I don't know that we actually put Victoria on the mountain, and she has to be.
We did.
Okay.
Victoria and Tara have to be either on a mountain or on my small country.
Are they two different people? Huh,
Eh,
technically, but no.
they're
No.
2 different types of
Um,
crazy.
so I think I've got a couple more that I remember that are people that where woman see that's before our time. We did that last week. I was
We
woman was on both of our mountains, but like, yeah.
Woman's on
Um,
everything. Period.
that's
Don't
one
get
of your
don't
that's
get
one
me
of your
started.
favorites. No, I would never. I'm gonna go. This is, again, a little bit of a sleeper pick because they were on the way out, but I'm gonna go with Dawn Marie because she
Ooh,
was. That
yeah.
might round out my mountain actually for the early aughts, like whatever. So Dawn Marie did both, and thank you, Evan, for bringing up like the Marlena, the Alexandra York, like so. Seeing like and Stacy Keebler was the same thing. Seeing those women evolve, literally, be one character. Ivory was like that too. Ivory was, whatever, Tina Ferrari and Glow, and then became an actual like wrestler, and then became Ivory. Like that whole, yes, awesome. Because I think women should be able to reinvent themselves just like guys do when they repackage a gimmick, like so you didn't really see that with women. Women were kind of like, like the Fabulous Moolah was the Fabulous Moolah.
Mhm.
By the way, Mae Young, we haven't put on we didn't do last week. She's on.
She's her own universe.
Oh, she's on every mountain ever.
She's on her own universe.
All of it.
All of it. Freaking Mae Young.
We try not to swear on the podcast, but I'm fucking Mae Young.
Hey.
Fucking Mae Young. Fucking Mae. It's the government name. It's on her birthday.
I
Fucking
mean,
Mae Young. You have to say all of it.
it's that's
Put the respect on.
so when you were away.
But Dawn Marie,
Mm, yeah.
because same thing. She could work. She was pretty. She could cut promos. I, you watched her get destroyed in ECW, and she was still one of the few people. And you remember this too because you brought up Charmel. Like you didn't get when ECW kind of like folded, when WCW kind of folded. Those people weren't super like they weren't
They
real
were
like
they
excited to have them absorbed
yeah.
into the WWF universe. Like so there was even more adversity than those girls were dealing with just being a girl and wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s. That now you're the outsider. Now you're the quote unquote enemy. Now you're the, you're coming into our house like looking for a job.
Mhm.
And this is still the era of you're not going to take my spot era, of wrestling,
Mhm.
which, the old school guy in me was like, well, at least they, whatever. Go ahead.
So while I was the main focus, um,
You're always
I mentioned thank you. I mentioned Awesome Kong, and we already know how much we love Awesome Kong. We have talked about her in several episodes. We've talked about Gail Kim in several episodes because again, Gail Kim was like, "I'm done with the bra and panties. I'm about to go do some wrestling." But I'm gonna bring her up again, Mickey James, and the reason I bought her up while you were away, and I also bought up SoCal Val, so shout out to her as well. But Mickey James, a lot of people, including myself, because it took me a minute to remember, she didn't start off as Miss Hardcore Country. No, she was doing some stuff, she was with Raven, and then she did all like Mickey James is still doing things today. Not as much as she used to, but she's got her music. She's
I
doing
I think it's I
skits,
think it's the hard thing is that like we like
radio.
I don't remember time. So like a lot of these
Yeah,
girls again like we talked about like you brought up the diva search with like the Bellas or like or Maurice or
yeah.
like or AJ Lee has been around like whatever like where I'm like they've been around for like almost
It
20
just feels
years
like
now.
they've
So
been
like
there.
so what era do you like you assign them to because they again they
Exactly.
transcend those eras,
And Mickey
right? So
James
it's
is
hard to
one
like
of those ones because she did this. And
can't
it's
argue
like
with that at all.
between the wrestling, the music, the stage, the radio, and she's showing you you can mom so hard and still get out there and, do what you gotta do. We were leaving the eating area at Sam's Town, and as we're walking, Mickey has Donovan, and they're power walking to go do something, and then an hour and a half later, Mickey's out on out on the ring doing her thing, you know? So she's shown you can do everything. You can start off as this very small character that probably not too many people are going to remember and then go all the way to, where she is now. So love Mickey James. Always gonna love her. Pleasure meeting her as well. Two thumbs way up.
Listen, I know we brought up Beth, and I might end it with that. Well, that's my mountain. I think we have to
Mhm.
eventually recap our respective mountains because we've been
I don't
even by
remember.
my
Time does not exist.
even by my standards of adult ADHD. I'm like, what were we talking about again? I mean, again, shout out to the hustler. Beth is somebody that went through Ohio Valley,
Yo.
like she's no, but Beth went through Ohio Valley. So like, or she went through Cleveland Opera. Like, so seeing those women, like what we would say back in the day is these women paid their dues. And you had like Beth and you had like Molly Holly and you had women, Gail Kim,
Mhm,
that worked the indies and like did that back in the early 2000s when again, not that indie wrestling is ever really super glamorous, but back then it was even less glamorous
mhm,
if you can imagine that. Like having those girls go through like those like you had to want it. We talked about this a little bit last week where my friend Malia Hosaka, who was a great 90s wrestler and 80s and 90s, I think. I don't know how old she is because it would be rude to ask. But she's been around for a while, but she came in like a lot of these women came in an era where like you had to pay your dues. You had to be like getting dressed in a bathroom because you
mhm,
weren't welcome in the locker room. Like, and I'm
mhm.
not making this up, guys. Like, if you
No,
know anything about like the old school like wrestling stuff, like that was how it was. Like, women were not allowed, to
you're a
be
lady. You're not supposed to do this,
right. So a lot of that. So like, but Malia brought up the fact that like as women have evolved in the wrestling business, as wrestling itself has evolved into sports entertainment, you're seeing diva searches and that sort of thing where these women are looking for an opportunity to not so much be professional wrestlers, but be a star, be like be a personality, be famous. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? So like they were using wrestling as a stepping stone to whatever they were going to do next. And this is before, the Mandy Roses of the world quit wrestling because they can make more money on OnlyFans wrong with that if that's the path that you wanna take, but we're talking about, like, the Molly Hollies and those women
yes.
actually worked. They made towns, they actually worked. Beth was one of those women that
Mhm.
actually, like, put in the work, you know what I
And
mean?
I hate that we never got to see the story of Beth and Awesome Kong because
No. She
of of the
woman
medical
stuff.
situation in which Awesome Kong ended up going through at that time. I'm recording, darling, but, um,
"Ma, the meatloaf!"
shout out to the mom who supports this. She will always be the head of the Mount Rushmore slash
Absolutely.
the big island. But I have one to round out early aughts
Love it.
who
Take it
also
home,
end up
kid.
moving into, a little bit further in, and I'm gonna say Melina. And
Forget Melina. God damn it.
and with
It
Melina,
should have been mine.
it the tributes now to Melina, that Naomi does when she does her splits to get into the ring, but I remember 2019, I'm at work and we were having like some slow down time and I pull up NWA on YouTube and
Yeah.
Melina's on there and Marty Bell and all these folks. And if it wasn't for Melina, I probably wouldn't know who Thunder Rosa is. And I love Thunder Rosa. But Melina, she was the big Latin star. She was
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
she
Eve
she was
Torres,
the
they
she
marketed a lot
was,
as the,
but it was but you and you looked at Eve, you're like, "Okay, Eve Taurus, okay, cool." But Melina, it was like you could see visual Melina, but Melina, the splits, the managing, then she got in the ring and kicked your ass, she did a little bit of everything. So shout out to her she's also on my small giant country because you cannot mountain all these women, including the ones who I had last week.
So as we take it home,
Taking it home.
give me your 5 because we
Oh
do
Lord.
5 on the mountain. I know most people think your Mount Rushmore is 4 people.
And
Woo! But Ashley
absolutely.
will tell you she'll smarten you up as to why it's not 4, it's actually 5.
And it could actually end up being more than that, but people passed on and they never got to finish the mountain and the other mountain that they were going to do.
You gotta cut the promo. Why
But
is it 5?
because according to our great friends at the History Channel, the mountain was supposed to include 4 presidents and Susan B. Anthony,
So
which
there
is
was
pretty
supposed to be a
interesting.
5th person
Girl
on the
power.
mountain.
Girl power.
Power. Yeah.
And yeah, at that. So on this mountain, if I have to make a mountain of this era, which is
That
so
is sort
hard.
of the gimmick. Remember when you wanted to try to do everybody from, like, the 2000s?
I know.
I
And
was the guy going like, "Hey, we should probably split this up and at
we
least,
should we should probably, do something with that. We're gonna have Mickey James. We're going to have Serena Deeb. We're
Oh,
going to have Melina. And we're going to have Daphne. Because I like a very diverse mountain.
oh,
And that fifth one, Lordy, it's China.
wow. You might
I
have
know.
beat me.
This is not a competition. This is
So
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
so mine, as I put in the thing, it's gonna be Gail Kim,
Yes.
it's gonna be Molly Holly,
Yes.
it's gonna be Christy Hem,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
Did I say Marlena?
You
I said
did.
Marlena. It'd
I
be
like it.
Terry Runnels, Marlena, Alexandra York. That's
I love it. Love it.
I love that we did that niche of a thing and we legit had not a single overlap between both of our mountains. That's how awesome women
Yeah.
were in the wrestling business as they evolved out of
Now next week
the.
may be the implosion of this whole thing.
All right, well, it might be the last episode. I mean, we're gonna make it count, guys. Thanks. We had a good run. If nothing else, some of the best. Is it better to fade away or to flame out? Like we're gonna.
'Cause because we already know one person that's gonna be on both of ours.
Well, I'm probably
'Cause
now. Are we gonna do like you want to do 1 week of modern day? Because I swear to God, we can do 2 more weeks of this. I can do that.
let us check the March calendar.
To
I
give you
know,
all the
I know,
flavor.
and then I don't know, I forgot what we're doing for April. Oh, shoot, hold on, please, one moment. I hit the wrong
I'm glad
button.
you know. I have no idea.
Okay, so we've got
We will be out. Not to cut you off, as I often do. We will be in Vegas for WrestleMania. By the way,
I'm
guys.
already
If
here in Vegas, so he will be joining me
we
in
will
Vegas.
cut me off. We'll be in Vegas during WrestleMania week, the both of us. So if you guys would like to set up an appearance, if you want to run a podcast, if you would like any interaction with us whatsoever, please find us. We might be doing some stuff with Cauliflower Alley. I might have the trainer to the stars hanging out with me if I can get him out of the gym. But yeah, please please find us on the strip. Mostly me staggering around at 3 in the morning, leaving a poker room or whatever like that.
Oh,
But maybe I heard there was wrestling going on there as well that week. So I've got a great list of almost 40 different wrestling shows that are happening in Las Vegas that are not WrestleMania. So if you are in the area, if you're an indie wrestler that is looking for a way to promote yourself, or if you want to talk about wrestling, now I will
we
speak
wanna
for the
talk
ace.
to you. No, like, I was gonna
We love
tell you
wrestling.
this.
We
We
love
talk
wrestling.
to you.
Give the
I wanna
reason.
talk to you. I wanna
Give
hear some
me a
stories.
reason.
Evan, you'll be here in 2 weeks? Find me so we can say hello.
Was
But yes, next week is technically the last Friday
Mondays.
we might have to figure some stuff out because we cannot leave so many great women and upcoming women off of the table. There's so and not just because I'm the chick, right?
I was gonna
But
say, if you think I'm gonna argue with you about this, if you think I
I
need more hate mail, I'm gonna be the guy going, "Well, we talked about chicks enough. Like, now let's
but
move on."
the reason why I'm saying this is because my goodness, every time you turn around, there is some great woman on the horizon. I just got turned on to Nikki Blackheart. Wow. Okay.
Great.
Wow.
Like, literally looks like Soraya.
Wow. Okay.
She's
I mean, there's so many things, so many different topics, so many different ways that
Listen,
we
we
can
said this about
approach it.
Megan Bain. If you're not making money, like whatever. Hey, I'm gonna go.
I have a Megan Bain rant.
All
And my
right.
bestie knows all about the Megan Bain rant, so we're gonna not do because it's a deep dive and
Hey,
we don't
save
really
it for
take
the ring.
long.
We're deep diving not this week.
Yeah,
Well, maybe next week.
but
Not today.
yeah, at the end of the day, you guys, you just don't know. We want you to stay tuned. We want you guys to comment, tell us stuff. And if you are an independent wrestler or
I'm
an up
gonna
and coming wrestler who's quasi independent or whatever it is, if you
I
are
am.
doing like multiple
I'm gonna
things
make it.
in the industry or you're doing things in the industry and outside the industry and you want someone to see your face, I am happy to have a 5-minute conversation with you so you can plug your stuff, as they say,
You're
or get
shitted,
it
kid.
in.
Come
Get
on.
it
Let's go.
in. We
Get it in.
wanna hear everything, and there is so much going on here. You never know where you're gonna find us. And
Thank you.
just a little spoiler alert, my hair won't be this color when you see me. So,
Now I feel like mine won't either, maybe.
you never know.
One of the few executive decisions I'm gonna make is we need at least 2 more weeks for this.
I
Next
like
week,
that.
we're gonna talk more about, like, the 2010s,
The mids.
moving into, like, whatever. In honor of what the unicorn just said, we wanna make sure, that, as the old school brother here, give me and my co-host an opportunity to put over that next generation of wrestlers. So what we're going to do after that is talk about the girls doing it now and the next girls, the Nikki Blackhearts of the world, the third generation Malenkos of the world,
Jada
where the
Stone.
NXT, the girls that just got on TV that we say, oh, they're going to be the next, you know, four horsewomen or
Yeah.
whatever it is of wrestling.
And it
So we've
pumps you
got
up when you see these things in on social media when the women are like, "You know what? I think I wanna come back." I'm like,
ladies. My God, let's
let's
power this
let's
up.
go."
I made it 3 weeks of this without making a single, like, "What are you doing on my podcast, not in the kitchen" jokes, all right?
Because you
Like,
don't, because
yeah,
they'll pop you into the kitchen.
I'm a good cook. I am a good cook. By the way, if you need a place to eat, whatever, I'll be in
We're
Vegas.
gonna be I'll
Talk
just
about it
put it
next
this
week once
way.
we hammer out
Next
yeah,
week,
I mean, there's
week after next, we're gonna go a little bit more, deep diving of things that may happen while Spiffy is visiting Vegas.
it's my second home. Well, third home, I guess, technically.
He
But
has
I don't think I know where to go.
But you guys, this has been so fun, and I want to thank you guys so much for interacting with us.
For
And
real. Again, talk about this,
you
like,
guys gave the brain a little with all the names you were popping in the comments. And I gotta say, I love and I because I do this every week. I love how many times woman's name came up because
it's
it's
great.
true. Because it's true.
That's one of the and
I
it's
said
probably it might be your personal favorite,
she's one
like,
of my personal favorites, and I don't know what it is because she again was on one of those levels of women who scared the living daylights out of me, but at the same time, man,
so I was never scared of her. Well, because, like,
she
well,
give
to
you
me,
one look and it was like, "Oh, she's gonna cut you."
see, understand, I've had women look at me like that my entire life, so that
Oh, I have
is
it. I do it with my face all the time. And I think,
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Like, that don't scare me.
But the young kid was, the young kid, she was a, anti Miss Elizabeth. It pretty much was the yin and yang.
Listen, I'll take it on with this. I love the fact that I don't think people talk as much about women's wrestling like this, and they should, because when you talk about men's wrestling, we talk all the time about I prefer this. I like a more technical presentation. I like AEW. I like WWE, and I like sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. I like strong style. I like high flying. With women, they don't have those same conversations. And I think it's important for for Women's History Month and for this discussion to really showcase how diverse even these women, even at a time when that wasn't the primary presentation, it wasn't even the secondary presentation at a lot of times for professional wrestling, is what the girls were doing. These women, these pioneers, like gave us a chance to say, look, I'm not a Trish Stratus person for whatever reason. I like Daphne. I identify more with this. Or
Mhm.
like having that difference. Like I love Awesome Kong. I don't want like some girl that looks like I can break her in half. But that was a very different thing. And it's very important to recognize that, like all other professional wrestling, there's very different flavors of ice cream for very different people. And there's no right answer. That's one of the great things about the Mount Rushmore of wrestling is, even in these very specific topics, you just watch the Ace and I go through an entire era of wrestling, and both of us had mountains with 5 completely different women on them between the both of us. And the great thing is, tomorrow we might think of another 5 women that we didn't even really get into on this broadcast. And that's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited that, I get to do this because I love talking about wrestling just as a whole, and I don't think women's wrestling, especially around this era, got the respect that it should have gotten. So, if nothing else, please share this with your people. The podcast drops on Mondays typically. Like us on Apple and Spotify. Please leave us a review. If you have an idea for a topic that we can talk about here on the Mount Rushmore of Wrestling with Spiffy and the Unicorn slash Ace, shoot us an email. The information is on the thing. We want to hear from you. The reason we love doing these live on a Friday night, if I can crawl my ass out of bed long enough to do it, is because we get the opportunity to get instant sort of interaction with you guys. And as a performer myself, that's something that's very important to me and Ashley as well. So please continue to find us on a Friday night. Please tell your friends. This is a brand new podcast. We're only 6 episodes in, I think, at this point. I don't know. But we're getting some momentum here, guys. Anything else, Ace?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking me to do this with you and giving me an opportunity to share
Happy to
as
ride
a
your
fan.
coattails. Happy
And
to latch on to the talent and
this has been great, and if you wanna follow us on our social media, my Instagram is ash0berry. I believe my YouTube is also the same, ash0berry, TikTok, Ash O Berry. Those are the ones that I do a lot. If you wanna see my written, you're gonna wanna go to X, that is Miss Ash 0579. So
oh,
I always want to hear some great comments. Leave a message, say hi, hit a follow, share this with your friends. Let us know
you
what you
remind
think.
me, not to cut you out, if you remind me as I edit this, I'll put that on the thing. We're
Oh, yeah, I'll
learning how
send
to
it to
do
you.
podcasts, so I can put the actual I know. For the Unicorn kids, happy Friday night. My name is Spiffy Sean Styles. I am the last of the old school, the modern day Renaissance man, this guy with good hair and a microphone that loves professional wrestling more than almost anything on the planet. And I appreciate the opportunity to share that love with Yins guys, as we say in Pittsburgh. We'll see you back here next week.
Bye, babies.